Alrighty. Good afternoon. My name is JaToya McCrae, and I want to welcome you all to our round table talk discussion today to learn more about women living with HIV. Today, our discussion is to move forward with understanding what this population of women go through, how we can increase retention to care, and provide best practices and services to this community. Like I stated, my name is JaToya McCrae. I am the Regional Outreach Coordinator here at Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine, working directly with our women's, infants, children, and youth program. We have 5 participants today that want to come on and tell their stories about how HIV came into their lives, the things that they need to do to overcome the many things that they had to face in regards to the diagnosis. And I would like to welcome them, and I will let them introduce themselves to provide their stories. Tracy, if you want to go ahead and get started and introduce yourself.
Okay, hello, my name is Tracy Page, but Whitfield also. I just recently was married, so it's Page now. I have been positive for about 7 years. And when I was diagnosed and immediately began care with Johns Hopkins University. But yeah, I don't know if there's any more information.
No, that's fine. Thank you and thank you. I want to go ahead and introduce Miss Jean. Miss Jean, if you're available, just state your name.
My name is Miss Mundy, and I was diagnosed with HIV with 12 years, and I've been living with it for 12 years, and so I am unprotectable now, and I guess I'm doing great.
That's good. Thank you for that. Ms. Mitsubo, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Tanya McDougall, and I've been living with for 27 years, and I'm doing great.
And Kiera. If you just want to introduce yourself and just state briefly who you are or when you were diagnosed. Kiera, are you able to hear me? Okay. Well, we'll come back. It may be some issues going on with her microphone. All right, so I want to thank you all for joining us today. I know we had some technical difficulties just logging in, but I want to thank you for your continued support and being able to come on and tell your story today. Many people are going to want to know your stories. A lot of it has to do with, right now we want to know about prevention services to treatment, and then, just what are the best practices to serve your population, serve the population. And so a lot of people want to know, like, how did you even find out that you were diagnosed with HIV? Anyone can hop in and answer it if they want.
Okay. I was diagnosed when I was trying to have a baby. I had an elevated white cell count, and we thought something else was going on, and then we found out I was HIV positive.
Were you connected to, at that time, do you know what year that was or what services they connected you to during that particular time?
I'm going to say that I was dealing with managed care, so I was down Tendeco. If anybody remembers Tendeco, which was downtown. And I just really didn't, have a clue as to what was, you know, in store for me at that point. I mean, it was notifying doctors, it was getting into care and staying into care, and finding the right care.
The right care.
The
right care.
Yeah, because I've
What does
through
that mean?
several different clinics. Because I kind of believed in the whole managed care thing, and I was a great advocate for that. But when it became that I was HIV positive, it was a little, I don't know the word, it was a little, I had to learn to maneuver that.
Understandably so, it's something new that you've been presented with, and I think then you said there you didn't have a clue, right? And so, but what I hear is you're thinking of care coordination, but what you said was the right care. And what does the right care mean to any of you? Like, what would that include? Like a support system, your medical providers, what would be the right care for you?
I'll chime in because I found out that I was HIV positive through just my own routine STD panels and requesting the additional HIV panel, because that's not part of just your standard, apparently. Or it was something I had to request, but I immediately, because I was a part of the JH-WICY, I think, system, my doctor was immediately able to plug me into the Bartlett Clinic.
Okay.
I think that was really important. So I think in terms of care coordination, like the JH-WICY system around, at least around HIV, had a pretty, it's well coordinated. My doctor, even though they were not located in Baltimore because they were part of the JH-WICY system, knew, okay, once this person, we've gotten a a positive test, and we need to send this person to this clinic. And then once I got within the Bartlett Clinic, I think the care was very well coordinated. I was immediately put with a peer/patient advocate, and I was made aware of the services provided in the clinic.
Okay.
And from therapy to social work and was immediately, all the appointments were coordinated through the just through the clinic, and that worked pretty well for me.
Thank you for sharing that. So we have here the care coordination, the services that they offered. So you said therapy, okay, medication adherence. What about taking the medications? Was it difficult to start, or did you have to, learn how to take something every day for your health care? Was it something that you just had to go on with? Because I know sometimes it's hard to just start a regimen and keep it going. Did you have any issues with staying adherent?
I know back then I had I was on a regime that was DDI, hydroxyurea, and AZT. And I'm going to tell you, it was something. It was something to take. The DDI were these large pills that had to be crushed and put into water, and you drank it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And some of the problems that I have now is from that initial drugs that I took. I still say I believe it's why I'm still here. But like things like peripheral neuropathy, the DDI and the hydroxyurea were going to cause that, and bone loss and things over time that I made myself aware of, but I didn't, how am I going to say? Fully informed. I thought I knew, but I didn't. And that's the best way that I can explain it. Because now I'm a diabetic and my neuropathy has nothing to do with diabetes at all. It has to do with that drug interaction from years ago. But I still say it's why I'm here. Okay, because I did a lot of research on that particular drug regime, which was coming out of Europe. And I believe I was at the Moore Clinic by then. And so I had gotten a lot of information. I just don't know that I had the discernment of the information then like I would now.
Okay. Does anyone else want to chime in reference to medication adherence?
I do. Hi everyone. My mic was messed up at first,
That's okay.
but I've been diagnosed since 08. I'm 32, but my medication was a lot on me. I was a teenager when I found out, but when I started taking medication, I didn't start taking medication until I had my 11-year-old, my first baby, just so it wouldn't transfer over to him. But I had to take 2 pills at the time. And the size of the pill used to be my problem.
Oh, yeah.
I would gag, I would be nauseous even after it. I would feel like the pill was still in my throat. It was to a point where as time went on in 2019, I almost died. I was diagnosed with PML. And I had to take liquid medication. And that one was the worst because I couldn't take it. They had to like guide me through taking it. I had meltdowns. I just started being on 1 pill a day now. But now it was a hard process, but I still take nausea medicine with the pills too. So it can, if I do feel like I don't have to vomit or anything, I could take the nausea pill.
Thank you for your insight there. Hello, we have, I just want to say we do have another panelist here, Ms. Brown. Thank you for joining. If you want to pop in and just, say hi, we're continuing our discussion. Oh, and also another thing, if anyone has any questions or anything that they want to ask specifically, you can put it down in the chat box and we'll monitor it and we'll try to get your answers, try to get your questions answered as soon as possible or towards the end if we have time. Thank you, sorry for the interruption. But Ms. Brown, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, just your name and when you were diagnosed. You got to unmute yourself.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Rachel Brown. Everybody know me as Miss Fabulous. I've been diagnosed for over 30 plus years. I got diagnosed when it was nothing but AIDS. No HIV, no anything. And I'm still here. And when I first started having to take the medicine did put a work on me, but I did take it. When it was 90 pills a day, I had to take that and I took it, worked, and still did everything I still had to do. And I kept on moving. I started my first business then, Rachel's Cleaning Services. No, I called it Mama's Cleaning Services. Yeah, I was 6 months clean when I found out. But actually, I already knew I had it, actually. So I already went through the crying and all that through the addiction part. So I knew I had it during addiction. So I already went through it. So when I got clean, I got tested, it came back, yes. And I went on to work at school. And because my network is so strong, I don't really feel the effects of it because I have a strong network. And plus, what I do is I let everybody know when I first meet them that I'm HIV, because you're going to love me or hate me, whichever way you want to go. But that means I haven't formed a connection with you for it to hurt. So that's why I let everybody know from the get-go. And then some people out here look like they need to have something. So, and I look awful good. So I don't worry about it one way or the other. I just want other people to understand that it's not a death sentence. Right now, I'm at work. I'm at work right now. And
Okay.
so it's not a death sentence.
Thank
It's just something that you have and you can live with and get achieve any goals you want. You know, so I love my life. I love me. I'm fabulous. Thank you.
That is amazing. And you definitely brought something up about having that support system. And I want to know, ladies, do you have, when you found out, did you have a strong support system about to support you? Did you tell the people around you to have that connection with them, or did you feel that you wanted to hold back? Anyone can hop in.
I'll
I
hop
think,
in.
oh, go ahead, Miss Tracy. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I had a very strong support system, and I immediately told, you know, my family, and then friends. I even told my, you know, a few folks at the job, like my boss, mainly because, you know, I wanted, if I needed to be off work or anything like that, I didn't want to have any trouble being able to, you know, he asked me, because I didn't tell him initially. I just told him, look, I've found out some new health information, and I might be needing to take off of work more often for sick leave because it's a chronic condition. And I think he just kind of, because him and I are close, he was like, is it cancer? Like, you know, he just immediately, he just couldn't help it. He was kind of like, what's going on? And I just went ahead and told him, and he was, and it's, you know, the nice thing about talking to people who it actually needs to be trusted agents, of course. I wouldn't necessarily recommend you just tell everybody all of your business, just because I'm a private person. So that's just what I'm going to recommend. But I think with trusted agents, it's interesting, because even people who you don't think that they would understand, I think it's great how empathetic people can be, and they try to look for ways to connect. Like even with my boss, he said, oh, you know, my wife studied HIV and AIDS as a biostatistics major. And he was like, so, you know, he was just looking for a way to kind of connect with that. Like, yeah, you know, okay. Like, and so, and I found that to be something that like people really wanted to understand how they could be helpful. Like, I think that's important too, when you tell people, it's kind of like, you know, what are you looking for from them too? How can they be helpful to you?
Thank you for that. Kiara, I know that you wanted to chime in and answer that as well.
Yes. I did have a support system. I didn't start having a support system until, can you hear me? I didn't start having a support system until later on. In the beginning, it was, first I told my dad before I told my mom, because I was scared, because I was a teenager at the time.
Okay.
And I opened up to my friends and told them. A good thing about with my friends, I'm still friends with them now. At that time, they all got tested themselves. At work, I was kind of like iffy, but I had an incident at work. I didn't have the good support system, but one person that did know one of my friends basically opened up. That was like a tragic, because she was like, you need to tell this, you need to tell your boss, you need to. I said, well, I don't have to tell my boss unless I need to. And I really didn't need to, because I was fine. I didn't feel like, oh, I'm gonna have an outbreak, or I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna have that I needed to tell my store manager at that time. And it became an altercation with that. Because she was like, your bodily fluids can get into the bag, and this, it was issues in the process of me being open. But as time went on and I got comfortable with it, I was open in the beginning, but I'm more open now. And my boss now, she told me that I'm a walking testimony, that she believed in me, that I help her wake up every day and move every day with the strength that I have. So I feel better now with she telling me that. I feel much better now with that being said, because sometimes, you feel like the world is against you. People not going to be open to you, or you're not going to have that same connection. But at the same time, when you hear that, that makes you feel stronger. So that made me feel better.
You know, the one reason why I say something all the time is because for me being so, 30 plus years, I got the opportunity to get fired from a job for having HIV. And I'm like, okay, suckers, it don't hurt me because I'm still working anyway. And the other reason is because I watch family members die because they was afraid to tell. I'm the one who told people, oh, your partner got HIV. Got AIDS. I'm the one who had to tell them. And I didn't even know I was telling anything. So I think people should give people a choice. And it's easier to let it go, to tell it right off the bat, than to have somebody else tell and make it look, oh my God, girl, you eat behind her. She got that shit. It's easier. I find it easier for me, to tell. I sing it all the time because nobody gave me the choice that I deserved. So I want to give the choice. And I want people to understand that you don't have to walk around scared. Because half the time the people who want to judge you anyway, look at their situation. Probably way worse than yours, and they gotta judge you so they can feel good about themselves. HIV saved my life because I was already out there killing myself with drugs and sex. So once I found out, I had to stop humping everything that looked good or didn't look good, or I just wanted to hump. I had to stop doing all that. So I did. Thank you. I'm sorry.
You're fine, because both you and Kiera brought up things that are stigmatizing, like at work. Oh, you can't do this particular thing because you'll start getting things in the bag, or just saying, oh, don't eat behind her. So I feel like there's more information that needs to be disseminated about stigma and how you can actually acquire HIV. Does anyone else have a story about a time that they feel they were stigmatized or probably discriminated against when someone found out their status?
I don't know if I could say discriminated against. I mean, in the dating, when dating, it comes up. So once you disclose, to the person, they make a choice whether they want to continue to date you or not. I think, so in experiences where someone has decided like, oh, that, you can kind of tell, like, they're kind of like, oh, okay, well, thanks for telling me. It's like, okay, no problem. I don't know. I feel like not everyone isn't privy to that information. So like, and when I don't necessarily, maybe dating is a bad example because I feel like, you know, when we date, it's not all about whether the person wants to be with you, it's also whether you want to be with the person. So everybody isn't for everybody, and it's okay.
Right.
You know, there's like billions of people in the world. So if this one person doesn't want to date me on that basis, I'm fine with that. And because there's bases that I don't want to date people too, and I'm entitled to that. So I don't take it personally. You know, so yeah, but I think in dating, I could see that being a very stigmatizing, an area that's very hard to navigate. When do you tell a person things like that? So that's probably trickier. I did meet my husband, and I was HIV positive, so I told him when we were first started dating, and you know, so I've gone through that, but yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad you did bring dating up because, you know, that can be a point. And you also brought up, I have the option. It's not just, you know, you stating that, you know, you're not interested in me. Has anyone else had any dating stories or any issues like with dating? And he's good again.
No, I had one experience that I was dating someone for a minute, a good minute. And I didn't tell him he kept wanting to invite me to his house. And it was like a year going past. And I knew if I was going to his house, I knew something on his mind. So I had wound up telling him, and he wound up cutting me off completely. And then after a while, I would tell people. My mom would be like, don't tell nobody unless y'all being sexual. And I was like, I think I need to tell in the beginning because that gives them the opportunity to make their decision from there, so it won't be too much going on. So both of my kids' dad knew, and our relationship was fine, and I didn't have no issues from that.
Okay, all right. Okay. Have you heard of the U equals U? It was a health campaign with the Baltimore City Health Department. U equals U. When you are disclosing to anyone, like you know, just to let them know this is what's going on with me. Have you provided information to say, you know, this is what's going on with HIV. If I am undetectable, then it's untransmittable. Has that been received well?
Yes.
Okay. Rachel, you had your hand up. Did you want to speak?
Touch on the basis of dating. For me, for dating, I don't have a hard time. I just be telling people, I said, I'm HIV fabulous, not HIV desperately seeking anything. You know, that's the biggest problem you have for me. They think because you're HIV, oh, you lucky to get me. Yo, you in a program. I have my own program. What do it look like? I'll go to the program and pick you up. You know, so that's what I get a lot of.
Okay. All right. All right. Hey, Miss Mungie. I wanted to say, did you have, can you, there you go.
Yeah,
Who are you?
I'm doing fine.
Okay. All right. And did you have any issues in regards to stigma?
I do have an issue when I tell my family like that I'm HIV and they just want to stay away from me. They don't want to be in my company no more. They don't want to be around me. They treat me different. My family is like this. I don't really deal with my family like that because they give me certain things to sit on, like certain place to eat out of. Like they're gonna catch something if you go to the bathroom. You're gonna catch it off the toilet, or you're going to catch it sitting on a chair or whatever. So I really don't do have a problem, but I had 2 kids.
Mhm.
And my 2 kids did not have HIV. I didn't
Mhm.
have HIV then when I was pregnant with my kids, but after a while, they didn't have HIV. I didn't have HIV when I was going through my pregnancy till after,
Okay.
and I started getting sick.
Mhm.
But now and today, my family treats me bad. I tell people that I come into with and I meet that I am HIV, you
Mhm.
know? So they accept me the way I am because I tell them. All right. So,
Mhm.
but my family does not accept me. All right. But I don't care what family does because I still praise God and worship God. And as long as I keep my head up high and keep going to groups and stuff like that, I have nothing to worry about, because family's gonna say what they want to say, but I still keep on going. I don't let that get me down. When I'm at work and I went to Broadway service where I'm working at now,
Mhm.
I tell the nurse that I'm HIV because they ask questions because you don't want to have that problem on your job that if you working around people or hospital or something like that, they will want to know so they can include you in there. So I didn't have a problem with that. That was confidential, you know.
Mhm.
You know, it was okay for me to work. I tell my friend that I'm into, and he already know and accept me the way I am. So long as my friend accept me where I am, I tell my friends, and that's it. So, but I don't worry about my family because I don't go around my families no more. I don't go around my cousins no more because they talk about me. So they make fun at me because I'm HIV because so I don't let that get me down.
Mhm.
They know that now that long as we dealing with the HIV, we never alone. We walking with the Lord, so we're never alone with this disease. I just know that I was by myself with this, but now I know that I'm not by myself. I'm not dealing with this disease. I know more people out there that have it other than me.
Right. Miss Mundy, you mentioned you said support groups. Thank you for sharing that story. And like I said, we do need to do more work in reference to stigma. Just having that level of, just contention towards another person can be very painful, especially going through that yourself and then not having that support and feeling isolated. And so you did mention support groups. And I wanted to know, are there support groups that you attend that you found to be life-changing or made an impact on you?
Well, as long as I go to Total Health Care, Domestic Health Group, it's all good.
Okay.
I get the support group from Total Health Care, and they all support me. Yeah,
Okay. Does anyone else attend a support group?
yeah.
Who said yeah? I'm sorry, I didn't see that.
That's all.
Miss Tanya?
I created a safe haven at Total Healthcare for an ongoing drop-in group on Thursdays at Westside Shopping Center,
Mhm.
so that you can come anytime, and you can come every week or you can come whenever you like, because I saw the need for us to be able to support each other.
I can support groups. I met everybody and I was like, wow, I got people just like me who want to be around me. Yay! And they did help me a lot by calling me out on my own stuff. And that is being highly sexual and everything. And once they started messing with me about that part, I was like, okay, maybe I do need to work on that. So I have been working on that.
Okay. What other services have you found to be helpful? You have the support groups,
Therapy.
therapy, so like mental health services. Has anyone experienced needing, I'm speaking in terms like housing, financial assistance, things of that nature. Do you have access to those programs if you need it?
Yes.
As long as you know, Miss Angie, you getting whatever you need.
That's good. That's good to know people that can connect you to services. And I think that's a really big thing, just knowing what services are available to you and then how you can actually get enrolled or connected to it. So I think that's a big thing, right?
Can I ask a question?
Go right ahead.
It was something, I think, I don't want to say who said it, but I have found out in one of the groups, and it always bothered me. I was heated when I found out that when you in certain housing things, it's a special number they put to you to say that you're HIV. I didn't know that. And isn't that a part of discrimination? We shouldn't be targeted to put a number on us or a letter or whatever that is.
I'm not exactly sure about that, but what I can do is I can look into it and then we could have a follow-up conversation in reference to that.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. All right, any of you, do you feel comfortable speaking to other people in reference to HIV when it comes along with stigma, like family and friends? Like, so Ms. Mundy experienced the situation where her family was just oblivious about her condition, about her health condition. And at any time, have you experienced that? Were you able to educate them on HIV and then was able to turn that around? Tanya, were you gonna answer that? I'm sorry, I know you're.
The only thing I was gonna say is, I back in the early days, I was kind of very upfront with my family, and then I learned to pull back a little bit with it. That the
Okay.
only reason that you needed to have that information is if you were in an intimate setting with me. If you weren't in an intimate setting, then I don't really need to disclose that.
Mm.
That's like going to a family party and saying I'm a diabetic or I'm an asthmatic. I've gotten a little better at, I think the word is discernment of medical information like that. And who needs to know and who doesn't? Because I think that's an important part of the puzzle. I think in lieu of things, you want to tell, you want to be open, but everybody doesn't deserve to know that.
All right. All right. So it's definitely up to the person. Do I feel that it's necessary to let you know? Because that can have an impact on you. You know what I mean? Let's see.
Can I
Tracy,
also, sorry.
go ahead. I was
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Go
I
ahead.
think there might be too, just in my experience and from like when I was younger, I learned a lot about HIV and AIDS during a time period where they were just finding out that there was a virus that like led to AIDS. And so I studied it in school. My background is I'm a scientist, so I've majored in I took a lot of chemistry, biology classes, and some of those classes were specific towards HIV. And so during that time period where people were just starting to realize, there was a lot of new information, maybe not a lot of reputable sources, or the sources that were reputable weren't necessarily the things that like the average person was reading. It was probably like journals, health journals and stuff like that, like, the doctors might be reading. So there wasn't a lot of information. So I think honestly nowadays, it's amazing how well some of the campaigns have really done. In this generation, I'm a millennial, and like the millennial Gen Z generation, like I think because a lot of campaigns have let them know you equals you, have let them know that there's medication. I think because they see people who are living with HIV and they look like they're living their best lives, it seems to have impact kind of the way people relate or see someone, as having HIV. So specifically when I told my now husband, like, I just like was like, hey, I got to talk to you about something and let you know. And he had more information or was more familiar with, oh yeah, I've seen commercials and, like, because these commercials are like MTV now, it's more, I think it's the campaigns that are really important, and getting that information out to the general public is really important. And that really does help with stigma, in the sense that when you start to have these conversations with people, they have some information that they feel is reputable, that they feel like, I think the misinformation can be terrible. So if you tell somebody and they go on the internet and you don't give them a reputable source, they're going to see all kinds of stuff on the internet.
You're
and
right.
I think that's what's really important. And I think in terms of the support groups, like that type of information is the type of information that you get from some of the support groups too, like, just stories, resources, advocacy, ways to advocate for yourself, I think are really important things. So I attend a support group too, and I get all the things. I think that's one of the most important aspects of care outside of seeing your, like, doctor, the support groups.
Thank you for that. Rachel, you had something in reference to the support groups?
No,
Okay.
I just love them. I just send people, because I do a lot of TikToks and they say HIV and fabulous on all of them. So people pull me up and tell me, how did you get there? What can I do? I need help. I'm scared. So what I do is I tell them about total health care. I tell them about Miss Angie, all of the people I have met, and not by names, but except for Miss Angie's name, how great they are, and how they can help you move on and do stuff. I didn't know that they would be that popular. I really didn't, because I have,
specific ideas that the group has floated
Okay.
to enhance or to modify programming for the community justice in the years. And so
Sorry,
ideas on the
someone
wall.
speaking that needs to be muted.
So the first one is,
Hello.
Can someone, oh, there we go. Okay, thank you. All right, so I do want to introduce Miss Angie. She has just entered our discussion. Miss Angie is a CAB leader over at Total Health Care, and she is also a peer navigator, and she runs groups. And Miss Angie, if you want to go ahead and say something and introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Miss Angie. I'm a peer specialist at Total Health Care. And I appreciate everyone that do come to the groups called WHAM, Whole Health Action Management. And I do love that Ms. McDougall came up with a group with Safe Haven to also help anyone that needs help, support through the course of the weeks, every day, every week. So I'm really happy to be here today. I say I've been positive over 34 years, and I know how to relate to different things dealing with different people because I'm there myself. So when it comes to certain things of knowing and understanding, I try my best to separate as little as JaToya know. But sometimes it's not easy because the simple fact is that I'm very passionate about my peers and because I'm one myself. So it's not easy to deal with a lot of people when they know certain things because they try to use it against you. But I try to let my peers know that when we work as one and we move as one, there's nothing nobody can do to us. So I just like to let everybody know I'm here when you need me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your service as well. Because, you know, having a support system and support group is great, but it depends on what are we saying in these groups? Like, how are we really helping each other? Are we coming together to really provide support that can uplift and move you along? Or like Tracy and me, you had a conversation. We were saying like some of the support groups, they want you to stay within like a certain feeling versus saying, okay, we had this, but now what? And then moving forward and then doing things such as education. Miss Angie, what things do you find that the women in your group need assistance with?
When they reach out to me and when I meet them when I go to clinical and sometimes some people word of mouth. They feel some type of way when they supporting each other, so they feel like they need some more support. What we do, I just talk. I mean, basically, some people just need to just listen, and that's
Mhm.
the best thing that you can do for anybody is just listen. And
Thank
at
you
the
so
end of
much.
the day, it just takes a long time to understand and to put trust in someone. As I was hearing the young ladies speaking on their past, on how people treat them, I do understand that because the simple fact it does hurt and it does bother you to a point where it triggers and then it has that trauma with you. And it's not
Mhm.
easy to remove yourself from that. So you can't dismiss it because everybody always been dismissing this for a very long time on how we feel.
Mhm.
So when we talk to each other, we uplift each other. I don't like the support group to be just focusing on that. So I
Mhm.
try to bring in people from BG&E, people from colleges, educational. I want to uplift us, not to see that we have to stay stuck in a certain place. Right now, we already in a place. So I want us to remove that and move forward and know that we can do more than what we just feeling at this time.
Thank you for that. That's very important. And like I said, the women that do come to your groups are very, you know, they're blessed to have that resource in you. It is 12:54, and though we could talk all day because you're wonderful. I'm glad that you came on and even just speak to us and provide us with any of your knowledge. Um, Allison, if you wanted to come on in and chime in, Allison is our medical director here. And hi, welcome to the chat. And if you had anything to say, go right ahead.
Thank you so much. Sorry I was late getting on my tech. It feels crazy 3 years into Zoom to say my tech was having issues, but it was. Really honored to be in the space with you all, even though it's virtual, and have you all share your experiences. So important. I do have a quick question for you all in light of National HIV Testing Day coming up on Tuesday. I think it's the 27th. I think I'm right on that next week. I'm wondering if you could speak to, as I look across the panel, I see primarily Black women who represent the disparate part of the epidemic, right? With so many Black women outpacing all other races in terms of positivity. And hearing your experiences of when you were diagnosed and how. I wonder if you could speak to what you would say to other women, but particularly Black women, about their risk and getting tested and you know, given what we're seeing. And would love to hear your thoughts about that.
You got this, Miss Brown.
For myself, I would tell anybody, it's best to get tested to find out if you are, if you ain't. If you have HIV or if you don't have HIV, it's better to get tested. Don't be afraid of the outcome because it's a lot of people here to support you. Um, you just should. It's easier to get tested than to act like you don't know when you do know when you have it. And right now, I don't know what to say.
Did anyone else want to chime in on what you would let other women know in reference to testing?
I think I would just, oh, sorry.
No, go
I
ahead.
would just promote self-advocacy in your own healthcare. So basically, don't assume when you go for your physical that the doctor's just going to be like, and would you like an HIV panel, or an STD panel or things like that? Like, as a part of your, your normal kind of health regimen, you should, if you are, for example, sexually active, when you go to do your pap smear, you should also do an STD panel and make sure you ask them what those panels are including, and if you can include this as a part of just a routine management of your health. I think that's the way I've talked to my friends about it. Actually, that's the way my friend talked to me about it, and that's how I caught it. So I just, that's the same message I just propagate as well.
Absolutely. Kiera, is there anything you would say to the young women in reference to being tested or, in their partner status or anything?
I've always say when you go to the appointment, just ask for ST, like ask for, just like Miss Tracy said, like just ask. I started asking after 18, after
Okay.
I was 18 years old. That's why I said I want to talk to teenagers, high schools, middle schools. We might as well talk about, because kids are sexually active. They are. When they go to the doctors, don't be afraid to ask, can you test me? Just get tested, because you never know. Don't be afraid. Because it could be just a STD, but the STDs can turn to, I feel like STDs, HIV is all the same. One is just, it's there forever. So always be honest with yourself and be honest to your doctor. If you're comfortable with that doctor, I know I'm comfortable with mine, been with mine since I was 17. So yes.
Thank you for your feedback here. We are coming to an end, and like I said, I could talk to you all day to get the information. I really appreciate you coming on. I value what you had to say. I hope our participants were able to learn some things and possibly incorporate some things into their practices that could alleviate some of the stigma that we hear that is still out here. So like I said, thank you again. Thank you for your input on what we should speak to the youth about. Thank you, Ms. Angie, for joining on. Thank you, everyone. And with that, we're almost at 1 o'clock, and I want to make sure I don't take up any more of your time so you can get on with your day. But thank you for joining. And if you have any additional questions, please feel free to email me. And thank you. Have a good day. Bye.